Thermo Fisher's environment, health, and safety policies exist to secure high standard of performance and require that contractors working within Thermo Fisher areas of control operate in a safe and responsible manner. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration recognizes the Eugene Thermo Fisher site as a voluntary protection program company for its role in implementing effective safety and health management systems. Upon arriving at the Thermo Fisher site, all non-Thermo Fisher employees are required to report to reception or the security desk before beginning any work. You will be checked in and given a visitor pass or keycard building access. On the first day of work at Thermo Fisher, the contract sponsor is required to discuss the nature of the work being carried out by the contractor. Contractors are to ensure that their employees and subcontractors are trained and fully qualified to carry out their work and maintain compliance with all environment, health, and safety regulations. Additional meetings will be carried out on an as-needed basis. Contractors working on company premises will be under the guidance of the contract sponsor of Thermo Fisher. The contractor is still responsible for their employees' actions and anyone affected by their activities. The role of the contract sponsor is to coordinate the activities of the contractor to minimize any risk created through the interaction between the contractor and the company's employees or property. The contract sponsor may also request to examine or test any equipment or materials prior to the contractor beginning work. Any failure to comply with rules and regulations by the employees of the contractor or subcontractors may result in the suspension or termination of their work and their contract with the company. Under Section 5 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act, employees have the right to a place of employment free from recognized hazards that are causing or are likely to cause death or serious physical harm. The contractor is required to take necessary precautions to mitigate any potential hazards and ensure that their employees have a safe place for work. All safety incidents, including accidents and situations that have the potential to cause harm or damage, are to be reported to the company immediately. The contractor is responsible for investigating the incident and identifying corrective actions. Incident investigations will be reviewed by the contract sponsor. In the event of a life or limb emergency, dial 911, then extension 55555. In the case of a non-life or limb emergency, dial extension 55555. Certain activities require the contractor to provide a specific safety plan, such as entry into confined spaces and work on pressure systems. These safety plans must be reviewed by the contract sponsor prior to beginning work. All hazardous materials brought to Thermo Fisher premises are to be reported to the contract sponsor and are to be managed by the contractor and must remain in accordance with all state, local, and federal regulations. Flammable liquids and other hazardous chemicals are to be kept in capped cans capable of being securely closed and placed in either a locked metal bin or an OSHA-approved flammable cabinet. Radioactive sources must be approved by the contract sponsor prior to being brought onto Thermo Fisher premises. When working in a lab environment, Thermo Fisher will provide lab coats and protective safety glasses. Contractors are required to provide their employees with any necessary personal protective equipment required to complete the project safely and according to regulations. Affected contractor employees will be fully qualified to use the protective equipment required. While operating power tools and other power equipment where the noise level exceeds 85 decibels, hearing protection must be implemented. Contact your EHS representative to discuss the requirements of hearing protection under these conditions. Contractors are reminded to follow proper operating procedures for the tools and equipment required for their tasks. Additionally, all equipment that is needed during the duration of the contract work must be inspected and regularly maintained prior to beginning any work. When using extension cords, remember to keep walkways clear to prevent a possible trip hazard. As needed, switch to a nearby power outlet. Inspect extension cords for fraying, missing ground progs, and general condition and task suitability. Working in extreme conditions, such as on top of a roof in the summer under full sunlight, or while working outside in sub-freezing weather in the winter, present other kind of hazards. To control for these hazards, make sure you are physically fit to carry out the work requested in these conditions. Use additional PPE, stay hydrated, and take breaks as needed. Listen to your body. Contractors are responsible for developing an adequate hazardous energy control program and providing lockout/tagout devices for their employees and subcontractors. When servicing Thermo Fisher's equipment, the contractor and contract sponsor shall inform each other of their respective lockout programs and equipment lockout procedures. The contractor is responsible for ensuring that all lifting appliances and lifting gear brought onto site are properly maintained and in compliance with statutory regulations. All lifts will be coordinated with the contractor sponsor. Lifts occurring over occupied facilities will require special safety procedures and will need to be discussed with the contract sponsor. Prior to beginning any hot work, investigate alternative methods. Contractors are to ensure that all hot work, such as any open flame, welding, or spark-producing grinding, is only carried out once the relevant hot work permit has been issued. All hot work will require the use of a contractor-provided fire watch during the task and for at least 1 hour after the task is completed. Any fires, however small, are to be reported immediately to the contract sponsor. When using welding equipment, screens must be used to prevent neighboring workers from being subjected to a welding flash. Smoking and tobacco use is prohibited on Thermo Fisher premises. Discharge of any waste effluent into the surface water and stormwater drains is prohibited, and any discharge into the sanitary sewer must be approved by the EHS manager. In the event of an accidental discharge, please dial extension 55555 immediately. Contractors bringing chemicals or oils onto the site are required to carry spill kits. If the spill should occur, the contractor must report the incident to the contract sponsor immediately. The contractor will need to notify the contract sponsor if storage of 55 gallons or more of chemicals on Thermo Fisher premises is needed. All work being done at heights must be in accordance with OSHA requirements. Scaffolding must be of sound construction and erected by a competent person. When working on roofs, the appropriate edge protection, such as guardrails, tow boards, and harnesses must be used. All fall protection, including ladders, must be inspected as required and have a valid inspection certificate, where required, before being put into use. Prior to any impairment on a fire suppression sprinkler system, a permit must be obtained from facilities. Contractors are required to close off construction areas to unauthorized persons as needed and keep their work areas clean and not allow rubbish, waste, or scraps to accumulate. At the end of each shift, they are required to leave their work area in a tidy and safe condition. Contractors are reminded to respect employee work areas while construction takes place. Additionally, take appropriate measures to ensure employee awareness of construction zones, such as proper signage, detour routes, and caution tape. At the end of every workday, the contractor is required to turn in their name badge and card key, if issued one, to reception or the security desk.